Howdy guys, this is Al. I'm giving you a quick video update on this project. Since I got the thing running, I haven't really done anything to it. I was somewhat sidetracked by some other stuff, other car purchases that you've probably seen videos of, and also the heat inside this building is unbearable. Right now in Texas, it's averaging around the high 90s, the low hundreds, sometimes even up to 110 outside, and inside this building it's probably 120 or higher. So it makes it really hard to work for any amount of time, and I haven't really been in here. But I've had some comments being made about the lack of progress. I apologize for that. I am going to do a little bit of work today. I'm going to try to get this radiator in there, the current the radiator that's in the car right now is leaking, so I want to swap that out. I'm also going to try to get the brake lines put back onto the brake calipers and get the brakes working. At that point, I'm probably going to have to stop again because I have I've got to just order some parts and take inventory of what I need. The fuel tanks out of the car, I'm going to install that as well, and I'm going to try to figure out what's going on with the wiring. That's really my biggest hang up with this car, is I'm not very good with electronics, and I'm a little bit perplexed by the hack that's taking place in this car. So I may need to send it out to somebody who knows these cars well enough for the wiring, or get the wiring figured out. It's definitely not for me. So anyway, I'm going to basically stop the video right now. I'm going to start working on the radiator. Once I get the radiator inside, I'll give a quick update, and then I'll just move on to the next step, and hopefully you'll see an update in a couple of days. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Okay guys, so the radiator is now out. Got made a little bit of a mess down there. You can see that it wasn't in the best of shape. You see the great big hole. We tried to patch it up with some radiator patch, but it didn't work. This is a radiator that I had already gone through, and I think this radiator is in it should be watertight, perfect. So I'm just going to go ahead and mount it back up, and then I'll give you guys another quick update. Hey guys, so the radiator is back on. The job went fairly smoothly. The only problem that I had is this fan shroud over here. I got two bolts on, the top one over here on this side and the bottom one at the other end, but the other two don't line up that well, and I'm guessing that the radiator may need to be jigged around a little bit. I'll mess around with that a little bit more before I add any coolant, just in case I have to take it out again. But yeah, everything else went pretty smoothly. The only other problem that I had was the oil cooler line on the bottom, sorry. I was having trouble getting that on. It was just off alignment. So I ended up raising the suspension, and that moved the sway bar out of the way, and I was able to hook the line up without any kind of problem. So aside from that, I mean, it's really hot inside this building right now. So I was hoping to get the fuel tank in, but that's not going to happen today because I'm just exhausted from the heat. I ordered some conifer brake lines and some metric fittings. So I'm going to need to make myself some new brake lines, because one of the brake lines on the passenger side broke, and we're going to need to splice a new set in. What else is there? Oh, this is something that you guys might be interested in. So, as everybody knows, the air suspension tank is behind this fender over here, and it's a real pain in the rear to air the car up if the engine isn't running. So what I did is I went to I think it was a Napa, but you can also buy them online, and you can also buy them in the truck supply place, but they're little extensions for the Schrader valves. They're designed for dually pickup trucks, you know, the ones with a twin wheel axle on the back, and it's designed to air up the rear tires. So it's like a 6-inch extension with a Schrader valve, a female on one side and a male on the other. And what it does is just makes it easy to air up the suspension, you know, directly at the air tank rather than having to mess around with it. And if you buy one of these, this is a little air chuck, and it's got a real nice clip that you can just hook up, and it will just basically stay on. You can see how it works, just like that. And this thing is not that expensive, less than 20 bucks. It's made by Milton, and you can just basically hook it on and then just let your air compressor charge it up, and it's just real nice. So if you guys have a 109, you know, 112 air suspension car, and you need to air it up, and it doesn't run like this car doesn't, this is really nice to have, and you know, it'll air up the back, you know, perfectly. So my compressor is good to 125 psi, and it's enough to air the suspension up. You know, some say, you know, you need a compressor that's good for like 150 psi, but I've never had a problem. But yeah, get yourself one of these. So the next thing is going to be the brake lines, the fuel tank, and then the exhaust system. And then after that, that's when the real work in my mind starts, because I'm going to be at that point, I'm going to be basically working on the electrics. And the electrics are a real challenge for me, because you know, it's just not something that I'm used to working on to begin with. And the wiring diagrams on this thing are horrible. And you know, somebody's hacked it, so it's not like there's a problem. It's like somebody's bypassed a bunch of stuff, so I've got to figure all of that stuff out. So stay tuned. I'll probably give you an update fairly quickly when I get the brakes done. I'm ordering the stuff, and it's coming in tomorrow. And then things are going to get a little bit slower, because you know, I'm not sure exactly what it's going to take to figure out the wiring. I may actually farm the work out. So there you have it. Thanks very much.